What I'm going to do is go through, a few things about day trading, introduce you to the sort of concept of day trading. I'll assume for the moment that you're not day trading. Maybe you are, but I'll go right back to the beginning, and then we can quickly go through to talk about what we do in the live trading room, etc. So markets are lovely and volatile at the moment, so the ability to make a living out of this has been dramatically improved since the volatility came into this. I mean, if you look back in the trends that we had prior to the virus, it was good moves, steady, very few sell-offs until we had this great big demand slump caused by the virus and the lockdown, and then everything got really volatile. It's calmed down a lot since, but still, the whole idea of what we do in our live trading room is to, have very modest, attainable targets that we can hit every day to make a daily profit and to walk away with an income from this. So the idea is, why day trade? Well, several reasons. You can trade with low risk. You haven't got to hold anything overnight and risk the market getting wobbly overnight or doing something strange. You are able to, day trading, something like the Dow allows you to start at 220 and normally finish by about 3:30. So you need about an hour and 10 minutes. And what normally happens is we quite often have a trade ongoing that we can manage and close off at the end of the day. If not, on other days where perhaps we've taken some profit in the first hour, there is quite often an opportunity for some further profit in the last hour. So it's all about the best windows of the day using limited risk and limiting the time at your screen. But the only way you can do this in this sort of volatility is you have to have a system. That's the real crux of this. If you are going in and out of this market without a system, then the chances of you making a steady profit is very limited. And we've seen a lot of people come into the market with lockdown who've got very, very limited experience and have risked the capital, and some have lost considerable sums of money. So by having a system, you are doing the same thing every day and expecting the same results. That's what we do in our live trading room. So we have a live trading room 4 days a week, and we're all doing the same thing every day and looking for the same results. And we're all working together to identify opportunities. And on a day like today, where there is, it's not as volatile, you can see this is a daily chart on the Dow, and it's quite flat here. Still profits to be made, but you just have to be either more patient or just wait till the end of the day. What I've done with in the live trading room session today, we left the markets alone because they weren't going anywhere. They were sideways, which is very, very, very rare. But what I will be doing is I'll be looking at the markets in the last hour to see if there's a move into the close. And most evenings, most closes of Dow, you can get something like 100, sometimes more, 100 or 200 pips. So for those of you who just joined us, it's about having a very precise system, using minimal risk, and risk management is the uppermost of what we do. Risk management is totally crucial to what we do. And this is where some people go wrong. They don't have a real grasp of what leverage can do to your account. If you don't manage leverage that these brokers give you in your account, you can whittle down your account so fast. So that's why you have to understand risk management and understand that when you are taking a trade, that you're looking for a high probability situation using our anchor system with minimal risk and specific targets in mind. And that's another problem. I see people trade without targets, which is crazy. So they spend a lot of time getting into a trade, but once they're in the trade, they don't actually have a target, but we have very specific targets, and once we hit those targets, we can walk away. So there are situations where you can have, if there's one specific setup that we look at, we would take a trade and we'll leave that on until the close. And it doesn't come along very often. You normally get trades like that about once a week. And so if that happens, then that's great. We open the room for about an hour every day, 4 days a week, and then we monitor it in the alert room. So we have a secure alert room where I'm posting other trades that I'm doing and telling people how I'm entering, what risk I'm taking, i.e. where my stop is and what my target is. And there are various markets that you can trade. Sometimes we take trades and I suggest you might want to keep them for a few days or a week or two. For example, I was suggesting 2 weeks ago that people bought and held gold. This is my gold daily chart. So gold's a good one to trade during the week because it's not as volatile. You normally don't get the extremes of movement in the gold. So if there is an intraday or intra-week trade in gold, you can trade it with a very small account size and sit there. As I suggested, people started buying at 17.20. I think it must have been about middle of last week. That was it. 17.20 was where I suggested people went long. I suggested they had a stop under 1700. And here we are, $45, $46 ahead of where that entry point was. And I think gold is going to 18 next, is the next stop. So that's what I'm suggesting people trade. So there's a variety of markets that we use, but we don't trade them all at any one time. We find the best market that's moving in that particular period, and then we stick to it. Oil has been a very good one that I've been talking about over the last 2 months. Another market that I have been talking about recently is beans. Sorry, this is very messy. Soybeans. Now these are good for swing trading, for investing. So I was looking at the price in which beans were operating at 8.20. This little move here that came under 8.20, that's normally a very good bullish sign. If you get a really strong level of support that's breached and immediately closes higher, that's normally very bullish. So the fact we breached that $8.20 was great to me, and that was a good signal to getting that trade and staying that trade. So you can see from the way in which I've drawn this, I'm looking for $9. We're in a consolidation pattern at the moment, so I'm still buying dips, but managing my trade, managing my risk, and looking to see if that can push higher. So let's talk about what's involved in starting to day trade and what you can expect to make. If you have let's say for example you have an account which is only £500. So you mustn't risk more than 2 to 3% on any one trade, and your risk reward ratio needs to be at least 2 to 1, because we're scalping and day trading, it doesn't normally, if you're investing, you need a 3-to-1 ratio minimum. But because you're day trading and you can minimize going the small size, I think a risk-reward ratio of 2-to-1 is fine. So if you've only got an account of £500 and you are only risking 2 to 3%, bear with me one moment, I just need to take a sip of my drink. So I didn't realise you'd ask questions. Apologies. You can hear fine. Okay, good. So if £500, you need to just trade 50p a point. Some brokers even let you trade less. So not even with 35 pips onto that. And what we're looking to do is trade, on average, you should expect to get 100 pips a day in the Dow. Some days it's a lot more, some days a lot less. Sometimes we make 100 pips in as little as 10-15 minutes. So if you are trading 50p a point at £100 and getting 100 pip moves, you are potentially making £50 on a trade. So if you make £50 a day on a £500 account, you compound that up over a period of a week, you can see that's a significant amount of money, and that's potentially 500 if it's a volatile market and we can achieve 100 pips a day. You could end up with an account at the end of that week as much as 750. Now, risk management means that what you should not do is suddenly increase your position size, because trading is very much a mind game. You know, there's a lot of, you can put yourself under undue stress if you start increasing your position size, and the more stress you're under, the less likely you are to have winning trades. The best position you need to be in as a professional trader, which you will need to aim at, is to sit there where you've got absolute minimal risk. And quite often in a trade, I will suggest to our members that they get their stops to break even. In other words, they've got a free trade. Stop to break even gives you a free trade. So you know, that puts you in a much more comfortable position, and you're much more likely to achieve your goal of, you know, if your goal is 100 pips a day, much more likely to achieve it if you're using low position size or small position size. Because you're a day trader, you can get relatively tight stops. In other words, you know, your exit order, your emergency exit order in case the trade goes wrong, can be quite close to your trade. Because we have an anchor system in the live trading room, the probability of these trades is very high. We have one member who studied 18 months of data. Every day, the DAX move every day for 18 months, and he claimed the system was 78% successful. Okay, so if you've got a system that's 78% successful, and you follow that system every day, do the same thing every day, expect the same results, then you can build, you know, a £500 account over a period of, you know, weeks and months into an account that can give you a good, sensible income. But this is not a get-rich scheme. So the idea is that you keep your position size nice and small. We trade with tight stops, well, relatively tight stops. You can't afford to get, in a volatile market like this, you can't afford to have your stops too close. We normally go in with at least 35-40 pip stops in the Dow. Hence the reason, because of the volatility, it's much more important to trade low position size in this kind of volatility, on the basis that if you've got wider moves and more exaggerated moves, then you'll make more profits anyway. But you're more likely to stay in the trade if you are trading a small position size. That's crucial because that's one of the key issues I see coming through with people that are having problems trading. So let's talk about how long it will take for you to be profitable. You need to actually generate an income from day trading. If you have less than 6 months experience, then you'll need a good 4 to 6 weeks to really be completely au fait with the system. It's like driving. When you first start driving a car, we all remember how it seemed there were so many things to remember, and you probably, if you had your first lessons, probably made you quite tired. Well, that can be the same in the very, very early stages of using the system. But once you use the system, you should be, it's just automated. And that's why we only open the trading room 10 minutes before the Dow opens, because we're all doing the same preparation. We're all doing it very quickly because it's such a routine to us. And then we're looking for the same entry mechanisms every single day of the week and expecting the same results. Outside of the trading room, there is an alert room, an encrypted alert room. So for any trades that we have existing, I will update traders what I'm doing, and if there are new opportunities coming in once the trading room is closed, then I will send out alerts for that in that room. So the actual alert room operates 5 days a week, but the trading room only operates for 4 of the 5 open sessions of the Dow. We don't trade the DAX. I'd send out alerts for the DAX, but we don't trade the Euro session because the DAX moves on average about half or a third of the speed of the Dow. So we much prefer the Dow because it gives you much more opportunities, plenty more time to prep for the market, and so therefore that's why we prefer the Dow. Right, other markets that you can trade. I've already mentioned oil. Oil has been, since the real sort of swoon down here on the 21st of April, oil has been quite a good, reliable, trending market ever since. And today we've only just traded the gap, filled the gap from the 6th of March. So that's been a good trade. Gold, like I said, I was suggesting members might want to buy gold a couple of weeks ago. That's been a nice steady one. Beans I've talked about. I've also talked about in the trading room, I've been mentioning wheat. Wheat put a buy signal in a couple of days ago. Sorry, yesterday I should say. Anybody know where that buy signal is? That's the daily chart of the Chicago wheat. Anybody know what the buy signal is? Reversal signal. Okay, I'll show you. Let's get my pen. So we had all this red in the chart. So we were trending down. We had a little bit of black here, but we stayed underneath that resistance. So we had a new low here and an immediate close higher. So I sent out a buy signal on that basis. The same here, with it trending lower. Doesn't always work. You can see we had a buy signal here that didn't work. That's trading. Sometimes they don't work. Anyway, we had a new low here, and 2 days of price action engulfed it before we broke up. But here we have. This is to me, that's quite a nice tidy reversal signal there. So that's one of the reasons why I've been talking about wheat. Now, I trade the futures market, but most people in my room trade CFDs or spread betting. So that's something. So you don't have to have a futures account. You can have just a simple retail £500 spread betting or CFD account, and This chart package is free. It comes with an account with IG Index. So I've got no allegiance with IG Index. You can open an account with whoever you like. But I happen to have a retail account with IG Index, and I have a futures account with a US broker called Interactive Brokers. So that's where I trade my futures account. Bear with me 1 minute. I've just been trading. I'm just going to take a little bit of profit off on the Dow. I traded currently got 50 pips on the Dow. I'll just take some of that off. Okay, I'll leave the rest of the trade on. Apologies for that. I've got to look after my account after all. So in terms of what to come into the live trading room, you need to come on our program. It's a 4-hour program. Once you've completed the program, it gives you immediate access to the live trading room, which operates Tuesday to Friday from 2:20 to roughly 3:15, 3:30. That immediately gives you access to the alert room, and we have additional training sessions during the week as well. And that covers a range of different markets. As for additional, another question I get quite a lot is what sort of additional work would you need to do? What additional time might this take from you if you want to become a professional day trader? What I do is I suggest I have a reading list that I would want you to read. I suggest methods of backtesting the system so that you can trust the system yourself, and I suggest a way of really enforcing and memorizing the system through some very, very simple techniques. So they're training techniques that really help you cement the essential elements of the system to keep you on the right side of the trades. So the fact, why come in the trading room? Because it's difficult to maintain the discipline when you're trading alone, and discipline underpins everything you will do in trading. Anybody who's been trading for months or maybe even years, you'll know that discipline is paramount, and it can be the toughest thing to learn in trading. I've made all the mistakes under the books as well. I've been trading a long, long time. I started trading the futures market in 03, 04, but I actually started trading way back in the 80s. So I've got a few grey hairs. I've traded through a few boom markets and a few recessions, which a lot of people who are currently trading at the moment have got no experience of. We've had a 10+ year boom, which is just totally unprecedented. Normally, markets operate in a 7 and 3 year cycle. So this correction in the market was long, long overdue. And it's just the severity of it. I mean, this moved in a matter of weeks what the 07-08 crisis took 18 months to do. This took sort of 17 weeks. The 07-08 crisis took 17, 18 months. So phenomenal ferocity of market on that push lower. Anybody got any questions? So I've been talking for 20, 25 minutes plus. Anybody got any questions at this stage? Okay. So by coming, so to start day trading, you have to have a system. You cannot go into the market and risk your own capital you worked hard for without a system. You'd be better off with a live trading room like ours. There are others out there, but ours is the best. And so we're all trading the same system. It's a specific period of the day that we can get in and out of the market. And some people just don't do any extra work, they don't do any extra research, they just come into my trading room. That's fine, I don't mind that. If they want to just copy my trades, that's entirely up to them, as long as they trade at their own risk and accept that they are trading their own risk. And that's what we do during the week. So now, here is the details of the facilities and the system. So if you come onto that page and then come down to the Scalper School on the Learning Centre, you will see, you get a little introduction to Scalper School. You'll also see what's included. So let's just talk through what's included in the system and what we will be teaching and doing. So you'll be looking at gap strategies. There's a gap fill and a gap and go setup. Markets hate gaps, so that means they create a lot of opportunity for traders like you and I. So I teach what to do if you have a gap in the market. So for example, I think today the Dow opened, I think it's at least 280 pips away from where it closed. So it closed down here on the Monday, opened up here in the cash market on the Tuesday. So the relationship between that price, that's 280 pips, is crucial. And if you use piggyback on my experience, you'll know why I was buying long and why I've taken profits off at around about the 300 pip mark, 26,300 mark. So we were buying at a point in this gap, and then looking for that to return back to the trend and potentially more, which of course it's now done. The open breakout is crucial. I've talked in the room before about that. I think some of you maybe have not been in the room, so I'll just talk about that very briefly. So the crux of the system we trade is this. We sit there and we wait for the open period, and we look at the very high and the very low of the open period, and then whichever way that breaks is the way we're going to trade. So we're not looking to trade the trend of the day, of the week, or the trend of the month. We're looking to trade the trend of the day. So for example, today that dipped underneath, but that's fine because it was a gap strategy we were trading. But later on it closed inside the range. So we had opportunities to buy on those dips, and then it broke out of the high of the range and then gave us a run. Okay, so that's the nub of the system. You don't need to know that now. I'm just giving you a little bit of an introduction. The reload is a setup that is the most profitable setup that we trade. So if we have a breakout, we trade that breakout, and then we look to get back in the trade, and then we hold it. That's when that's a situation where we would hold a trade into the end of the day. That has not triggered today, so that's why I've been taking at least some of my profits off on this recent push higher as we've been talking. So intraday reversals, we have one on Friday that generated a total of 700 pips on Friday. So we have an anchor system that tracks intraday reversals, and the anchor system is unique to our trading room because I spent many years developing it. It's very simple. None of this is complicated. None of this, I've not reinvented the wheel on this strategy, but what I have done is I've put together a system that is easy to use and is very reliable. It's not 100%. I'm not trying to tell you for 1 minute that this system will work every single day. It doesn't. No system does. Anybody who tells you otherwise is just not being honest. But the rate in which we have winning trades against our losing trades is significantly better. So our profit levels are healthy, and I have shown that. Although I don't show it on that particular website, I have shown it on this website. The reason why I have two websites is because one is compliant with FCA and one isn't. This isn't compliant because Compliance don't like me posting profits. This was a profit yesterday. I'm not allowed to. They call it bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm just showing you what you can do with the system. So I traded wheat. I actually wish I traded oil, but that's another story. So I made 283 on wheat, and I made 237 on Dow, and this is all in the opening period. So I came out with 520. That's yesterday. I've not put a date on it. Apologies. I'll go back and put a date on that. I thought I threw it up there quickly without putting a date on it. Here's another day where I just show my account. I'll just wind that up. So this day, this was Friday. Was it Friday? 17th. When was 17th? That was. Oh, okay. I've not done it every day. I sold the Dow for 93 pips, and I bought the DAX for 37 pips. 130 pips on that day, and so on. You can scroll through this. I'll send you that link as well, and see some of my profits. This is our alert room, just to show you how the alert room works. So you can see the profit levels there, and there's some other account. Oh, okay. 355 and 492 that day. Oh, this is a screenshot of my futures ladder. I've got 365. I don't keep this up to date that often because I've got 2 websites to manage, and it's difficult to update two websites. So, like I said, the system. Let's go back to this one. So, members come onto the 4-hour program. The next one is next Saturday. Then you go straight into the trading room, and we trade the gap. We trade these strategies. There's 3 main strategies. The 4th strategy is quite a rare one. The golden anchor is the anchor system that underpins all the trading we do. You get to see how you can set the charts up to optimize your view of the potential for intraday trades. Risk management is absolutely crucial. We talk about risk management throughout the whole program, so that that becomes crucial. I've talked about the live trade room and the chat room and the alerts and the video prep at the weekend. At the weekend, I do normally a sort of 60-90 minute preparation with everybody, and so I commit a lot of my time and energy and my experience to this trading. So if you would like to come into our trading room and like to build an account, whatever account size that is you've got, then join us, and I'll help you write a trade plan which will ultimately become your business plan, and that will be your guiding light into your career or your potential second income as a day trader. So, I mean, the business model, I call it, I think of it in terms of a business, because the business model of day trading is this. It's the same as the insurance industry. You know, insurance companies sell you policies to cover your car or your house, whatever, and they expect a certain percentage of those policies to have claims. They expect to lose on a certain percentage of those policies, and that's exactly the same in trading, as you probably know only too well. You have a percent losers, but your winners must far outstrip. So I can't write with this pen very well. Far must be much bigger than your losers, and that's what we achieve in our trading room through using the system, through using a variety of markets. Normally, it's predominantly the Dow, but it is a cross-section of markets as well. Right. Any questions? I've tried to cover the common questions that I get. You can put your mics on or type in the room. It's entirely up to you. So the next
Mike,
hello.
Hiya. So if we went to your training session, the Scalper school,
Yes.
and then learn the system and stuff like that. When you said you need to do 4 to 6 weeks of kind of testing, does that mean that we don't go live straight away?
Oh no, sorry, I must have confused you. No, we go live the following Tuesday. So anybody who comes on the program on Saturday is into the live trading room on the Tuesday, the 30th of June.
Okay.
And you are perfectly okay to go live with your account if you want to do that. Some people like to paper trade or just watch for a day or two or a week or so. That's up to them. But as far as I'm concerned, once you go on the program, it's a very intensive program, but you get lots of. You walk away with the cheat sheets to help you learn the system and make sure you walk into the training room on the Tuesday.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Actually, one other question. You said earlier on that you
any other question?
Yeah. You said you trade on the futures, and a lot of your students do spread betting CFD. Is there any pros and cons between one and the other? Or just personal preference kind of thing, like that you've got the account?
Well, the real difference, generally speaking, no, there's no difference. The setup's the same, so as long as you're following the system and taking the same setup, in theory, there's no difference. The only reason why I trade the futures account is because I see inside the market. So I've got a futures ladder. I can see which I communicate. I talk about in the live trading room, but I can see I can see greater influence of the volume that's coming into the market or out of the market, and I can see which I just got a few more sort of tools and a few more insights into what the market may or may not be doing. But otherwise, and the futures ladder is a bit more complicated on how to use it, as opposed to just buy and sell tickets on retail brokers accounts. But the straight answer to your question is there's no significant difference at all. The entries are the same, the risk levels are the same. Obviously, they're proportionate to your account, but there's no essential difference.
Okay.
So I thought of something else to mention then. In the live trading room, what you'll find me doing is when you come into the live trading room, you'll hear me talk about what's going on in the futures market, and you'll hear me talking about the three core elements. Let me clear this off. This is getting really messy. You'll hear me talk about the three core elements of the system. I'll be talking about the relationship of the price we're seeing with the anchor system we have. You'll hear me talk about if I'm getting ready to trade, I'll be giving you, or I give members all the warning about what I'm doing, the direction of my trade, the potential entry I'm looking at. So I'm looking for specific triggers in the system to do with the relationship of the open range. And so I'm giving a running commentary in the trading room so that everybody should be completely clear about what I'm doing and when I'm going to do it. And like I said, if we are still in a trade after I close the room, then I just update everybody on the alert room. So it's a very comprehensive system, but members are pretty much got 5 days coverage. They've got my support for 5 days a week. Okay, it's much quieter on Monday. markets normally jiggle around and sort of settle down on Mondays, so I don't. There's less commentary on Monday, and then of course Tuesday we're straight into the live trading room, and so it gets busier from Tuesday onwards, and then we're looking to capture, you know, the bulk of these moves in these key markets. It's fun. It's good because we work together as a team, and you know, you're much less likely to make mistakes. You're much more likely to maintain the discipline you need to manage your account, and it's a great benefit to me as well. I have to admit, you know, it's yeah, I don't want to trade on my own. It's much easier to trade in a room and you know, to guide people into, or at least maybe not into, but to at least observe the sorts of markets that I'm engaging and how I'm doing it. I also talk about stocks as well. If the markets I'm looking at are quiet or in a trade and not much is happening, I'll refer to trades I'm taking on stocks. For example, stocks I've been looking at recently, I'm a bear rater in certain sectors. I've been bear rating retail sector for about 5 or 6 years now, and I have been shorting this in the room. This is Domino Pizza. I'll tie this all up. That arrow is where I've been shorting. So as a bear rater, I short as high as I possibly can. That's my aim in bear rating. I'm assuming you all know what a bear rater is, but basically, for those just in case there is anyone listening that doesn't know what bear rater is, I like to take sectors that are going through issues like retail, bricks and mortar retail in particular, and so if I see a sell set up in those weak sectors, I will sell into rallies. So as a bet, I'm raiding any rallies. I'm shorting rallies in markets like this. This has been a great one. So I've been talking about it all through this period here, the back end of May into early June. Been taking profits off at this 300 support. Markets like big numbers. 300 down there was a big number. Another one I've been talking. So I cover a lot of ground. This is another example of one we've been talking about the last 2 weeks. This is Auto Trader. We talk about US stocks as well. In fact, I talk about US stocks more than UK stocks. So this has been I've equally been trying to short as high as I possibly. I have been shorting as high as I possibly can. In this one, you'll see these pink zones. So I set pink zones up, and I inform the room when I am entering those trades. We've also been buying. We've been buying, looking to buy BT, looking to buy BP, and a variety of other stocks. And of course, one of the best sectors at the moment has been the healthcare sector. I am long this one, but I got a low entry, and just trying to manage that one. I'm talking for a very long time. Any more questions? Anybody want to turn the mic on and ask anything? I've been long this one. Well, I'm long this at the moment from a dip yesterday. Again. Right. So like I said, the next scalp score is Saturday morning. Dow is still holding up. If we look at a 10-minute chart, you can see that there's the opening 10 minutes. And so we dipped underneath it, found some support, and we're not opened and closed above that range yet, so it is showing some weakness. But that's in a crude form. That's what we're doing. That's the heart of the system. Not in a 10-minute chart. I'm just giving you an example. We use a completely different time frame and a completely different method. But we have two types of entry, and then of course we have the reload. Right. So if you would like to join us, click on that Trade the Easy Way link and go to the Learning Centre for Scalper School. If for any reason you want to ask me any questions personally, I'm available if you want to give me a ring and ask me any specific questions. Otherwise, I will leave it there. You can email me from the website, or there's all the usual communication links on there, on the contact form, on the contact page. Right, doesn't appear to be any more questions, so I will finish up. Wish you a good evening, and look forward to seeing you on the program. Okay. Thanks very much. Bye for now.
Thanks, bye.
Cheers.